Phone records show suspect in apparent attempted assassination of Trump was near golf course for 12 hours. The Associated Press. West Palm Beach, Florida. The man suspected in an apparent assassination attempt targeting former President Donald Trump camped outside a golf course with food and a rifle for nearly 12 hours, lying in wait for the former president before a Secret Service agent thwarted the potential attack and opened fire, according to court documents filed Monday. Ryan Wesley Ruth did not fire any shots, never had Trump in his line of sight and sped away after being shot at by an agent who spotted him, officials said. He was arrested in a neighboring county. Ruth, 58, appeared in federal court in West Palm Beach to face federal firearms charges, starting a criminal case in the final weeks of a presidential race already touched by violence and upheaval. Though no one was injured, the episode marked the second attempt on Trump's life in as many months, raising questions about the security provided to him during a time of amped-up political rhetoric and what the Secret Service chief called an unprecedented and hyper-dynamic threat environment. Even as Trump's Republican allies and some Democrats demanded answers about how a would-be shooter was able to get so close to Trump, Ronald Rowe Jr., the Secret Service's acting director, offered a fiery defense of the agents he said were rising to this moment, despite needing additional resources. Right now, we are redlining them, and they are rising to this moment, and they are meeting the challenges right now, Rowe said, citing recent political conventions and other major events that required protective details. Authorities continued to examine Routh's potential motive and movements in the days and weeks leading up to Sunday, when a Secret Service agent assigned to Trump's security detail spotted a firearm poking out of shrubbery on the West Palm Beach golf course where Trump was playing. The agent fired, and Ruth escaped into a sport utility, leaving behind a digital camera, a backpack, a loaded SKS-style assault rifle and a plastic bag containing food. He had been at the golf course's tree line from 1:59 a.m. to 2:31 p.m., according to an FBI affidavit that cited cell phone data. The FBI is continuing to investigate how long the Hawaii man had been in Florida, said Jeffrey Veltri, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Miami field office. Body camera footage posted Monday on Facebook by the Martin County Sheriff's Office showed Routh's arrest. The video shows him walking backward with his hands over his head on the side of a road before being handcuffed and led away by law enforcement. The man suspected in the incident, Ryan Wesley Ruth, camped outside the golf course in West Palm Beach with food and a rifle for nearly 12 hours, according to court documents filed Monday. He is accused of lying in wait for the former president before a Secret Service agent opened fire, thwarting the potential attack. Here are 5 things to know about what happened and where the investigation stands. Ruth, 58, faces charges of possessing a firearm despite a prior felony conviction and of possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Additional charges are possible. Ruth appeared briefly in federal court in West Palm Beach on Monday. He had frequently posted on social media about the war in Ukraine and had a website where he sought to raise money and recruit volunteers to go to Kyiv to join the fight against the Russian invasion. Fight and die to stop aggression, he posted on X in February 2023 about Ukraine. Everyone should be outraged and helping. In a video circulating online, Ruth said, "This is about good versus evil." He also wrote separately on X, "I am going to fight and die for Ukraine," and he even traveled there. Video shot by the Associated Press showed Ruth at a small demonstration in Kyiv's Independence Square in April 2022, 2 months after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an invasion of the country. A placard he was holding said, "We cannot tolerate corruption and evil for another 50+ years. End Russia for our kids." Ruth wore a blue vest with the U.S. flag on the back. That same day, Ruth also visited a makeshift memorial to foreigners killed by Putin. But Ruth never served in the Ukrainian army or worked with its military, said Alexander Shahuri of the Foreigners Coordination Department of the Ukrainian Ground Forces Command. Routh's politics, meanwhile, don't appear consistently aligned to one party or the other. In June 2020, he offered a post on X directed at then-President Trump to say he would win re-election if he issued an executive order for the Justice Department to prosecute police misconduct. That year, he also posted in support of the Democratic presidential campaign of then U.S. Representative Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii, who has since left the party and endorsed Trump. Police say a man who brought a rifle with a scope to former President Donald Trump's West Palm Beach Golf Club Sunday got within a few hundred yards of the former president, who was on the course at the time. However, in recent years, his posts suggest he soured on Trump, and he expressed support for President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. In July, following the assassination attempt on Trump in Pennsylvania, Ruth urged Biden and Harris to visit those wounded in the shooting at the hospital and to attend the funeral of a former fire chief killed at the rally. Voter records show he registered as an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina in 2012, most recently voting in person during the state's Democratic Party primary in March 2024. Federal campaign finance records show Ruth made 19 small political donations totaling $140 since 2019 using his Hawaii address through a political action committee that supports Democratic candidates. Records show that while living in Greensboro, North Carolina, Ruth had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. The top FBI official in the Miami, Jeffrey B. Veltri, said Ruth has numerous felony charges for stolen goods between 1997 and 2010. He also was the subject of a closed investigation in 2019 when someone reported he was a felon in possession of a firearm, but Veltri said the tipster would not confirm making the report. Ruth was convicted in 2002 of possessing a weapon of mass destruction, according to online North Carolina Department of Adult Correction records. Ruth, 58, faces charges of possessing a firearm despite a prior felony conviction and of possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Additional charges are possible. The suspect lived in North Carolina for most of his life before moving in 2018 to Ka'awa, Hawaii. He and his son operated a company building sheds, according to an archived version of the webpage for the business. Ruth appeared briefly in federal court in West Palm Beach on Monday. Voter records show he registered as an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina in 2012, most recently voting in person during the state's Democratic Party primary in March 2024. Federal campaign finance records show Ruth made 19 small political donations totaling $140 since 2019 using his Hawaii address through a political action committee that supports Democratic candidates. Records show that while living in Greensboro, North Carolina, Ruth had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. The top FBI official in the Miami, Jeffrey B. Veltri, said Ruth has numerous felony charges for stolen goods between 1997 and 2010. Ruth was convicted in 2002 of possessing a weapon of mass destruction, according to online North Carolina Department of Adult Correction records. Ruth sped away before being captured in a neighboring county. Body camera footage of Routh's arrest showed him walking backward with his hands over his head on the side of a road before being handcuffed and led away. The suspect is believed to have been positioned at the tree line of the golf course from about 1:59 a.m. to 1:31 p.m. Sunday. A digital camera, a loaded SKS-style rifle with a scope and a plastic bag containing food were recovered from the area. Trump's protective detail has been higher than some of his peers because of his high visibility and his campaign to seek the White House again. His security was bolstered days before the July 13 assassination attempt in Pennsylvania because of a threat on Trump's life from Iran, U.S. officials said. Trump initially posted, "I am safe and well," and subsequently praised the Secret Service for protecting him. But the former president pivoted Monday to the politics surrounding the incident, claiming, without evidence, that Biden and Harris' comments that he is a threat to democracy had inspired the latest attempt on his life. "Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at," Trump told Fox News Digital. In a subsequent post on his social media site Monday, Trump wrote that the left has taken politics in our country to a whole new level of hatred, abuse, and distrust. He said, "It will only get worse," then veered into comments about immigration, even though there is no evidence immigrants were involved in the incident. The former president made those comments despite his own long history of inflammatory campaign rhetoric and advocacy for jailing or prosecuting his political enemies. Harris, Trump's Democratic opponent in the presidential election, posted on X that she was glad he is safe. "Violence has no place in America." Biden also avoided politics in his reaction. He said Monday that the Secret Service needs more help, and urging Congress to provide additional resources to help the agency. "America has suffered too many times the tragedy of an assassin's bullet," Biden said at the start of an address to the National HBCU Week conference in Philadelphia. "It solves nothing. It just tears the country apart. We must do everything we can to prevent it and never give it any oxygen." Trump hasn't announced any changes to his schedule and is speaking live on X on Monday night from his Mar-a-Lago resort to launch his son's crypto platform. Harris met with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters at the 1.3 million member group's headquarters in Washington. Still, a presidential race already rocked by Biden giving up his re-election bid and the first attack on Trump now is being further shaped by a second one. The leaders of a congressional bipartisan task force investigating Trump's Pennsylvania shooting said they have requested a briefing by the Secret Service. "We are thankful that the former president was not harmed, but remain deeply concerned about political violence and condemn it in all of its forms," Mike Kelly, RPA, and Jason Crow, D. Colo, said in a statement.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right! Take 2 steps to your right! Driver! Walk straight back! Keep walking!
Keep that low. Keep on
By Jesse Kirsch, Carmen Gonzalez and David K. Lee. Stewart, Florida. The man arrested after an apparent attempt to assassinate former President Donald Trump followed sheriff's directions and was taken into custody without incident, video released Monday showed. The Martin County Sheriff's Office made the video available less than 24 hours after the gunfire near Trump's Florida golf course, where he had been playing. Body camera video showed several armed police or sheriff's deputies confronting Ryan Wesley Ruth, 58. Driver, take 2 steps to your right. Take 2 steps to your right. Driver, go straight back, keep walking. An unidentified deputy can be heard and seen yelling at the suspect. That's when a sunglass-wearing man with a t-shirt pulled over his head, exposing his midsection, comes into the camera's range with his hands up. The suspect had been told to pull his shirt up to show he had no concealed weapons, Martin County Sheriff William Snyder told NBC News. 2 law enforcement agents then grab the man's hands and handcuff him, the video showed. The deputy yelling instructions was the first Martin County deputy to spot Routh's car, leading to the capture, Snyder said. Once Ruth was taken into custody, the arresting deputy stayed with him with his body camera activated in case he made any incriminating statements, Snyder said. Ruth has been charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, officials said. He was arrested Sunday driving on Interstate 95. A witness who spotted Ruth and his car was crucial to helping law enforcement find him quickly, officials said. If the witness had not seen him, taken a picture of the car, given us the tag, I would say he would be home resting having a margarita right about now, Snyder told NBC News. Law enforcement officers benefited from Routh's not knowing deputies were onto him, Snyder added. He was just driving with the flow of traffic. I think that he may have thought he got away with it, Snyder told reporters Monday. Of course, he couldn't have known that there was a witness who really did the right thing, took a picture of him, took a picture of the tag. And he was just going to drive himself back to wherever he came from. Snyder said he wants to know how an armed man could have been within several hundred feet of a former president. I think that's the question the FBI, Secret Service are laser focused on today, Snyder said.
As you leave the page, don't forget to hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.